All right, man. I do this once a week. Probably try to keep it on Wednesdays. A fantasy talk starting to them for each Detroit Lion game. And as most of us know, if you don't know, we play the Arizona Cardinals Sunday. I think it's 4:25 kickoff Eastern Standard Time. We in Arizona, so no 1 p.m. game this week. But we know they bringing the air raid offense to the table. And the Lions bringing a new offense with Darrell Bevel. And we get to talk about the defenses. So let's talk about the Cardinals, and I'm more of a, I don't play standard fantasy. I play the daily thing. And if you want to know how to play daily fantasy, I'll put a video link in the description under daily fantasy link, and I'll show you how to walk through it and how you win money. You don't have to wait the whole season to get paid. So you get paid that day after your contest is done. You can play the 1 p.m. games. You can play the week one. You can play the afternoon games. You can play the early games. It's super dope. So my video is very long and informative. But looking at the offense for the Arizona Cardinals, pretty much, man. It's like, if I had one guy would start, the one guy would start, it would be David Johnson, because if things don't go right, especially if you're in a PPR league, and I believe FanDuel is PPR and DraftKings, or they are PPR. I mean points per reception. I think it's 0.5, but don't quote me on that. It's David Johnson. I think David Johnson is the safest Arizona Cardinal pick. I lock him in, like definitely lock. You just figure if they throw the ball a lot, he a good back out the backfield, and if they get behind, he gonna get some touches out the backfield. You eventually live if he can score a touchdown or two. He'll pro you up to 12 points. I'm gonna guesstimate. It might be a little bit of an overestimation. I'm gonna say he catch about 10 balls Sunday. So he can get you a nice amount of points. So that's who I would definitely lock in, David Johnson, if I'm looking at this game. And he one of my locks for the weekend in general. Okay. Other guys I'm looking at in this game, the Lions have not been good versus tight end. My sleeper from the Arizona Cardinals is going to be Charles Clay. He's the starting tight end, good mobile guy, been lost in Buffalo because a quarterback situation been messed up. He's my sleeper pick from the Cardinals this weekend, Charles Clay, the tight end from Arizona. So if you got some questionable tight ends, or you on a rotational standard fantasy, you want to rotate a week-to-week rotation with your tight ends, I like Charles Clay this week just because of the matchup. Who I don't like from the Cardinals this week, I don't like Crabtree at all. I don't like Crabtree. I wouldn't touch Crabtree at all. Just wouldn't touch him. Kyler Murray, I know a lot of people want to know about Kyler Murray. Hit or miss, to be honest. Big hit or miss with him. Man, it's tough. I don't honestly know. I wouldn't mess with him. If you look at FanDuel, he's got a higher dollar amount, or significantly higher. He's 1,000 more on FanDuel than Matthew Stafford. So they projecting him to put up better numbers than Stafford in this game. He hit or miss, to be real. He really on that line because you don't know what you're gonna get from him. But he probably gonna throw for a ton of yards. He probably find the end zone. So if you quarterback situation messed up, I guess you gamble with him. Fitzgerald versus Justin Coleman in the slot. Coleman been pretty bad in the slot, so that might be a favorable matchup. Andy Isabel, if you're looking for a sleeper or tight end, you need an extra receiver. Andy Isabel, he may catch a deep pass, and Christian Kirk can go deep as well. But I'm for sure in the grand scheme of things, I'm starting David Johnson, and my sleeper is Charles Clay, just from that team. Now, defensively wise, I wouldn't mess with Arizona, but could be defensive struggle. They're missing their top two corners, so I wouldn't mess with them. But if I had no other choice, I don't think it's bad. And Hassan Reddick, he's still questionable, but I really want to play the D. Primarily, if I had to give you strong advice, it'd be David Johnson for sure. That'd be my lock. I'm not mad if you, but I wouldn't play Crabtree, and I probably wouldn't play their defense. I don't know. I just got a hunch on that one. Now, from a Lions aspect, for people who got the Lions, The one guy that I would lock in for this game is probably going to be Kerryon Johnson. I lock in Kerryon. Matthew Stafford. FanDuel, I definitely play him. I think he only 6,600 on FanDuel. Probably as cheap as on DraftKings. No two starting cornerback. Stafford should get off. From the receiver aspect, I like Galladay, but I got a hunch that Marvin Jones gonna have a big game. I like both receivers. I like the tight end, especially if Hassan Reddick don't play. And ain't too many people I don't like on the Lions this week, just knowing what they going against and the injuries they suffering. But if I was to stay away from somebody in this game, if I was to stay away, I probably would stay away. I probably would stay away from the tight ends, to be honest. You don't really know who gonna get the most targets out the tight ends. Jesse James listed as starter, but I think it's like a partnership right now. I think either one can have a big game. It's a mystery. But just knowing the mystery, I probably stay away from the tight ends. My sleeper pick is probably going to be it's a good one. It's probably going to be Anderson. He 5,000, 5,300 on FanDuel. I think my sleeper would be him. I think Kerryon might get him in the end to the goal line, and I think C.J. Anderson might be the beneficiary touchdown wise of Kerryon Johnson up and down the field work. But the tight end position, just not knowing who gonna get the majority of the targets is just why I'm staying away from. Defensively, I feel the same way with Arizona. I just don't know what I'm gonna get. The Lions, they got a ton of veterans that have been out this preseason. Flowers, Daniels, Harrison missing time. Davis, he limited in practice. So you just don't know what you're gonna get from the defenses on this one. But if I had to pick a defense, you was in the bind, which hopefully nobody in this bind, I would go with the Lions defense. They seem to be more healthy, but quite frankly, I would stay away from both defenses this weekend. But if some defense do show up, it'll be the Lions, in my opinion. But I like those players this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I like David Johnson a hell of a lot. And for some reason, I think Marvin Jones has a big game this week. I think he going under the radar. He cheap. He my sleeper. Him and Anderson is my sleeper. And my other sleeper on Arizona is going to be Charles Clay, the tight end. So you got a lot of plays out this game. This game can be a lot of points, or it might be a struggle. You just never know. I'm anticipating it'll be a lot of points this game put up from one side. If it's the Lions go up big and then they come back, the Arizona come back and try to close the gap and make it not look like a blowout, or if Arizona go up big early and the Lions pick up some yards and points in garbage time, I think it's gonna be a lot of points scored on both sides. But I'm staying away from the defenses. I'm staying away from Crabtree, and I'm staying away from the Lions tight ends if I have to. But I'm strong on the Crabtree thing. I could be wrong, but I'm strong on Crabtree. He might be a target in the red zone. He might not. But, pretty much that's what it is, man. But, just Stafford should have a monster game, to be honest. But I'm so hesitant to say he is going to have a monster game just because of how I started off last season. And Stafford has not been historically great, or recent history been great at fantasy numbers. The Lions just, it's like they got a restricted area on the red zone. He can't put up touchdowns. For whatever reason it is, on a consistent basis, the Lions just can't go down there and put in touchdowns. Also, Anderson and Johnson in the red zone might take away some touchdowns on the ground. But just looking at it, not looking at the projections, which he not projected. I don't even think it would be a top 10 quarterback this week. Some of them. But looking at it, Stafford should have a huge game. And his value on FanDuel is 6,600, I think it is. 1,000 less than Kyler Murray. Stafford should tear it up, man. And it's a 425, so that he'll be able to catch you up on some points. But I think Stafford should have a huge, huge game. But if I was locking anybody from this game, man, it's going to be David Johnson, to be honest. If I had to lock one more in, it's probably be Kerryon. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Motor City Sports Talk. Appreciate the love, support. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, a video request. Keep sharing the videos. And let me know if you got any fantasy advice on this game that you want to share in the comment section. And we can chop